Hey guys, Angel here with the Bullish Bears team. I am going to make this video today on how to invest in the stock market with a little bit of money. So a lot of times people that start out don't have a lot of money, and that can be daunting. And you may think that, oh, I don't have $10,000. I don't have $100,000. I don't even have $20,000. So how can I invest in the stock market with 500 or 1,000 or 2,000? Is that even possible? And the answer is yes, it is possible. It is going to take practice, and you're going to have to learn a bunch of different strategies in order to be able to make that money. But there is a way for you to take your small account and grow it and make it big. And one of the things that me personally I have found that helps me and that I would suggest would be to set goals for yourself, whether that's daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, just as far as how much you want to grow your account. Because if you have something to work towards, it is easier to hit those goals than just trying to knock it out of the park each and every trade. So, for example, let's say you decide, okay, I have an account of $2,500. I want to grow it by $1,000 within the next month. Now, it's possible to do that in less than a month, but at the same time, you don't want to get so crazy trying to make these out of the ballpark trades that you end up blowing up your whole account. So if you set a goal, you practice proper risk management, there are ways that you can grow your small account and invest with a little bit of money. And one of those ways would be options trading. So if we go ahead and take a look over here at an options, actually I'm going to pull up a different chart because let's see what Square is doing. I think that, okay, so Square is only 66.61 at the moment, so they're not, and of course this is just going to be really, really slow because it knows I need it. So it's going to, you just want to take a look at that. Okay, so it's trading between moving averages. So this is one thing that if you're new to the stock market and you have a small amount and you want to grow your account and you look at this and you might be like, oh man, it's moving up. I need to get in there. I would just wait a little bit just because see this 200 SMA and this 9 EMA, and it's trapped right in between there, and it could trade sideways trapped in between those for quite a bit, and that's going to tie up your capital, especially if you don't have a lot, and then you're just going to be sort of stuck waiting for this trade. You're either going to make some money or you're going to end up taking a loss, and if you don't have a lot of money, a loss hurts. I mean, it hurts no matter what, but it's more of obvious if you don't have a ton of money in your account, which most of us do not. But let's say you want to trade this. So you're going to go to and trade options. Now, if you're going to trade options, there are a ton of moving parts. So you really, really need to take the time to just sit there and study and practice, because the options have time decay. They have the Greeks, and there's just a bunch of stuff that will affect implied volatility, things like that, that we're buying a stock, it's pretty cut and dry. You buy, you sell. Options, you buy and sell, but then there's all these little moving parts that are going to affect your profit and loss. But the great thing about options is that like when it affects your profit, it can affect it big time, and you can get double the return on your investment, triple the return on your investment than you would just investing in a stock. So let's say we decide that we think that Square is going to go up by December 21st, and we can go out of the money. It is cheaper, so you could buy and out of the money, you think it's going to go up to 67. Now it's 50 cents away from 67. So you're like, yeah, I think it's going to go up to $67 by December 21st. And you can see that if you buy that, you're going to be spending $395. So if you just buy one contract, you were going to, now it's at 400, you're going to be spending $400 to do that. So if you have an account of $2,500 and you're spending $400, that leaves you with $2,100 left. And the thing about options is that if you miss on the trade, then you're going to end up losing that whole 400. Or if you hit it out of the park on a trade, you could end up making $1,000. So that's one of the great things that can happen and occur with options trading is that you don't have to put up, like, one contract controls 100 shares. So if you were to buy 100 shares of Square at 66.68, you would be spending almost $6,700 as opposed to 400 for one options contract that controls 100 shares. So that's a great way to grow a small account. And if you are a member of ours and you're in our trade rooms and you watch our live streams, you'll see Dan. He's doing the small account challenge, and he's taking his account and he's using options to grow it and make it a large account. And so that is one of those ways. Now, many people, when they start out with small brokerage accounts and they're going to invest, the first thing they think of is penny stocks. And obviously that's because penny stocks are obviously cheap, and everybody hears the stories of those people that made $13 million in a year trading penny stocks. Well, that is, if that happens, that's incredibly rare. And many times penny stock traders end up bag holding and losing a lot of money because the people that are promoting these penny stocks don't actually have stock in them. They're being paid to promote. So they're being paid to get you to get into this stock for somebody else, and then you end up bag holding, and that can actually just obliterate your account because penny stocks don't have a lot of volume. They don't have a lot of liquidity. They're bid and ask. So that's their buy and sell are usually, if they have a large spread where it's like $3 or $4 bid ask spread, then you don't want to get into that, especially if it's a penny stock, because you're going to be stuck in that trade. The smaller the bid ask spread, the better, because that gives you a higher probability of getting your trades filled. So not to discourage you from penny stocks, it's just another thing that you really have to be aware of and be careful of. So if you have a little bit of money and you want to invest and you're listening to this and you're like, oh man, this sounds hard. Well, it is hard. I'm sorry to say that it's not going to be easy. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. But if you sit there and you practice and you study, one of the things that I would recommend is, you can see this screen I have pulled up. It's Thinkorswim through TD Ameritrade, and you can open a paper trading account. So that way you can practice with options. You can see how it works. You can learn the different strategies. And the great thing with options is that there is a strategy to make money no matter what the market is. So typically with stocks, you can either go long or you can go short. With options, you can trade it long, you can trade it short, you can even trade it sideways. So with options, you're never going to be sitting out. You're always going to have that ability to make money. So that's one of those great things that allows you to grow your account, that you don't have to just sit there with the market being crazy. So if we pulled up the futures, and you can see that it has been, you see all these little tiny doji candlesticks. Those are super indecisive. So it was starting to make an inverse head and shoulders, which was a bullish pattern, but it was in a descending triangle, which is a bearish pattern. So those two patterns are fighting each other. And right now, we're not sure who's going to win. It looks like it's hammering out this strong support level. It hasn't been able to break the base of this descending triangle, which is good for the market, but you don't know what's going to happen, because it could go up and hit this 9 EMA and then just decide it doesn't like this, and then it heads down. So that's one of the things that you as a trader are going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn support, resistance, patterns, candlesticks, because that's all going to be a tool to help you invest with a little bit of money. Especially with a little bit of money, you don't have the capital to be risky and make stupid trades. Of course, we're all going to make stupid trades. We always do. Even the best traders fail 30 to 40% of the time because of things like patterns breaking down, because it's one side versus the other side in a fight. And if you're trading options and you're trading just calls and puts, you have to be correct on a direction, because if you're not, then you're completely wiped out. That's why you want to learn those simple strategies like calls and puts, practice them in a paper trading account, and then put it into a spread where that limits your risk. So it's all about limiting risk. Proper risk management is super important, and that's why practicing in a paper trading account is incredibly important. Because when you're new and you take your first loss, it's devastating and it messes with your confidence. And then you get a little afraid to jump in because then you're like, I don't have all this money to just blow. I need to protect it. And so you'll miss out on great trades, but because you're afraid, and you'll also, that'll protect you from making some bad ones. And the opposite is true when you take a win. You're super excited, you get pretty cocky, you're like, I got this, and then you start getting greedy. And the stock market is all about trading on the emotions of others. So you're just trading greed and fear. And you don't want to be one of those that just, what do they say? Bears make money, bulls make money, pigs get slaughtered. So you don't want to get greedy and try to hit this out of the park trade every single time. If you make 50 bucks, just and you take that, that's not a bad thing. That's $50 more than what you had before, and that's better than taking a $200 loss trying to make a $300 profit. And I know Dan laughs at me when I say this, but it's so true. You never go broke taking your profits. Even if it's just a teeny tiny one, it's okay. As long as you take it and your commission fees are covered, it's great. And that's why we suggest to make a few hundred practice trades. That way you can test out support and resistance and play with the patterns and play with your trading plan, because you're going to want to make a trading plan. You're going to want to have a good profit loss ratio, and then you can practice and you can see how the things that you did right or wrong, and you can say, okay, I got in on this candlestick. This is an indecision candle. I want to wait for a confirmation. Waiting for confirmation is super great, especially if, let's take this S&P futures for instance. Now, it looks like an inverse head and shoulders was forming. It still potentially could, I guess, but if you saw this left shoulder, this head, and then you started to see the right shoulder forming, you're like, I'm going to get in, and I'm going to go bear or bullish on all of these plays, and I'm going to get in right before like the market breaks out again, so I'm going to get an even better profit. And then instead, what happened? It formed a bear flag, and now it's testing this descending triangle base. And so far, it's tested it 4 days in a row and hasn't broken below it. So that's a good thing. But if you're in these trades where you're trying to beat other traders into a breakout of a pattern, and then you end up taking a loss. So you need to practice things like trading these patterns, getting confirmation, knowing what the patterns are, support and resistance, candlesticks, and that might sound like a lot. And you might be like, oh man, that's going to take me forever. And it might, but that's one of the most important and smartest things you can do, especially if you don't have a big account, because you want to protect that account. No matter what size of account you have, you always want to protect it. And sticking to a plan, setting goals, sticking to a plan, and learning how to control your emotions is going to go a long way in helping you. And once you make those practice trades and you get comfortable buying and selling, you're going to move on to real money. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit different than a practice trade, because all of a sudden it's your money and you have actual skin in the game. And so we recommend starting out small. If you're going to trade options, take one contract. If you're going to trade shares, trade 10 shares, and just start out small. And you're not going to hit these huge out of the park trades every time, but if you start out small and you protect your losses, you let your runners run and you cut your losses quick, you're going to grow your account in no time. And before you know it, you're going to be a good, consistent trader. And that's the goal. And if you want to learn more about this, you can read the blog post I wrote on how to invest in the stock market with little money. And it's got practice, yes. Brokerage accounts are important, so you can find a great brokerage account that isn't going to charge you an arm and a leg for your commission fees. Small investments, big returns, don't let emotions take over, all of these things that I've been talking to you about. You can read about it in written form. You can also head over here, especially if you're new, and take our courses, get our ebook, take our candlesticks course, learn day trading, swing trading, options trading. You can take these courses, and they're a great tool to help you build your account. And if you are new, again, you can head over here to our stock market Facebook page. It's our group. Yes, our group. So you can head over to this group and you can ask questions and just talk to other people. There's going to be new traders in here. There's going to be experienced traders in here. And you can commiserate and congratulate and ask questions and get them answered. And you can head over to our fan page over here and you can like it, and that's where you'll see the majority of like the admin posts where Lucian or Dan or people like that will post in there. It's easier to find them in the fan page. So you'll want to like the fan page. You can follow the fan page to get notifications. So it's just a really, really smart thing for you to do, to come over here and join a community. So that way you don't feel like you're alone, especially when you're starting out. And if you guys like this video, then just like and share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media. Promise you won't regret it. And remember, practice makes perfect. So start small and work your way up. That's the best advice I can give you.